Hello, and welcome to another episode of me rambling about 15 or 20 minutes on, the usual topics that I like to ramble about. And, hopefully none of you have watched my last video, which you can find on my channel, mainly because the embarrassing thing is that I used a low bitrate when, recording the video, so basically that meant that, the video turned out in really crappy, absolutely shit quality. But nevertheless, I'm leaving it up on my channel there because, I think it's like a reminder that everyone makes mistakes every now and then. So it's, I made a mistake. I figured out the source of my mistake, and yeah, I fixed it. Well, hopefully, because I'm sort of recording this right now, and I know I did a bit of like test run footage yesterday, so things should hopefully look a little more sharper in quality this time around. But anyway, I one thing that's happened to me earlier this week was a couple of lucid dreams, and I guess lucid dreams are something that's always a bit fascinating to think about because it's sort of like what can you do in them, and it's like what kind of environments I guess it's like thinking of I guess it's like when I wake up thinking about what's happened, why am I thinking of these sort of things, why is the environment as it is. Those are all basically interesting things for me to think about in that sense. And it's mostly how do I say it? Mostly basically operates on the well, basically I think about the dreams in the context of thinking, well, that the dreams are like an amalgamation of all that you've experienced. Ooh, I've got a rare. Ooh, that's interesting. Unfortunately, I probably won't be able to use it, so I'll just throw it away. So yeah, basically, I think like dreams are like an amalgamation of random thoughts and experiences that your brain puts together. Because, at least for me, in my experience, I've always been able to identify most aspects of the dream, of my dreams, and sort of just pick out where from my life they've come from. And yeah, so that's how it is for me. I know some people have, like, say, crazier dreams, for example, and part of it is probably also because they have like some kind of imagination. And for me, I'm not really one. Well, I don't think I have much of an imagination. So, and I think it shows in my ability to recognize which parts of my lives are reoccurring up in my dreams. But more interestingly, so is lucid dreams because the fact that it feels like you can walk around or operate in the environment that's created in your head, and it just makes me wonder what's actually going on within the brain when that sort of thing happens. I mean, yes, you could go into all the science of REM sleep and how at different stages your brain is processing these kind of memories and sort of things like that. More importantly is, I suppose not more importantly, more interestingly is like what's happening during those lucid dreams, and is whether your brain is sort of thinking normally. And I guess you can't mention lucid dreams without talking about Inception because, well, Inception is pretty much based on the foundation of lucid dreams, just sort of being able to. Okay, I'm not familiar with this area, so can I think I'm gonna go back and explore the map a little bit more because there's one more cave that I need to check out, just in case. And yeah, I've been having a couple of I had two lucid dreams earlier this week, which is extremely rare. And the latest one was look, I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of zombie scenarios, but this was actually like I guess a pre-zombie apocalypse scenario. But basically, the scenario was that there was some really weird clay that what that was that that somehow was able to spawn zombies for it. and basically you had to keep the clay contained, like wrapped up and contained, like for some reason in my dream, you had to wrap up the clay in small portions and in foil and submerge them in water, so that would prevent the zombies like spawning from the clay. And this what happened was that, well, the scenario was that there was me, or like in a room, in like this kind of watchtower shelter sort of thing. It was me, this old guy who was supposedly a professor, but so like somehow he was a professor, but I don't recall seeing any evidence or circumstance as to why. And basically I was like trying to demonstrate the clay to him, and he was like very ignorant. And so I gave him the clay, and no, what happened? I held out the clay, and in my hand, it should be clear that like the amount of clay I had in my hand was basically a palm. Like if you took, like if you just grabbed it with your hand, it's like how much clay that was standing in my hand, but that was enough to spawn a zombie. So I held it out in my hand, and a zombie started rising up from the top of it, and then the professor was like, "Ooh, aren't you a cute little zombie? Coochie. And then the zombie, by now, which had spawned sufficiently enough, actually bit him on the finger. So, and you know, as is typical with all zombie apocalypse sort of thing, if you get bitten by a zombie, you end up becoming one yourself. So what happened was that I was like apparently the leader of a group consisting of me, one other woman, one other guy, and what is happening? Oh, okay. Whoops, I should probably pay attention. Yeah, so what happened with that guy obviously got bit by a zombie, and obviously it meant he was in trouble. So I sort of like sprung into action. I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep check on this guy. You call the you call something. Probably it was probably like a quarantine center sort of thing. So like obviously I had to watch the professor and check whether he turned into a zombie or not, because at the time the whole biting someone, the whole being bitten by a zombie makes you turn into a zombie thing was yet to be confirmed. So yeah, that was a really interesting dream. The other thing was that the zombie that raised from the clay resembled exactly the basic zombie that you will see in the Plants vs Zombie game. So, and this comes back to the part where I say like I'm able to recall parts, or at least stuff that I'm experiencing in life in my dreams, because lately I've been playing a lot of Plants vs Zombies on my mobile. So, oops, I did not mean to sell that. Lately I've been playing Plants vs Zombies 2 on my mobile, and my mobile's a bit old for that, but yeah, it basically just means it's still fresh enough in my memory for me to sort of just, I guess, to have it incorporated in my dreams, basically. Then, okay, well, oh god, do I even have space for this? Yes I do. Okay, I'll just move that around, I'll pop that in. Okay. And yeah, it's so I guess the whole scenario with like the professor and me with two other people, it just feels like a scene of Jurassic Park. And I guess the old professor was just sort of like a very stereotypical grumpy fellow. So I get, come to think of it, I haven't given this dream much thought or analysis. But yeah, otherwise yeah, it's like I feel like this dream is fairly normal compared to what some other people may experience. But nevertheless, it's always a very bizarre feeling to sort of be in the dream. And one of the things that always happens in this dream is that I'm always having this niggling feeling back in the back of my head, saying, wait, this is not real. This is not real. But for some reason or other, I'm always like ignoring that feeling. and then it's like only then until I wake up and when I reflect on it, it's just like, yeah, you're right. This was definitely not normal, and that's why what you experienced was a dream. And it's kind of frustrating in the sense that I've never been able to really hook onto that niggling feeling, and then it's just sort of like a pinch myself, wake up, this is not real moment. And yeah, it's interesting, fascinating, and sometimes a little silly, sometimes a little frustrating, depending on the type of dream. But I mentioned that this past week I had 2 lucid dreams. So the other one was actually kind of like I was just sitting down with one of it was just basically a DMM, like a deeper, meaningful conversation I was having with one of the YouTubers I occasionally watch. So yeah, he's the kind of YouTuber that when I watch his videos, I always think like, he's the guy I would like to hang out with, to have a beer, to chill back and chat games, chat with about games, and he's always the guy that always has some kind of story, or you get him in a good environment and he'll regale you with interesting stories, or just sometimes really silly conversations or discussions. Yeah, he's also Canadian, so I think there's some appeal in his being Canadian as well. But yeah, it was mostly a deep and meaningful discussion, and I just remember coming out of it feeling very relieved, very oh, I got a level. Yeah, I came out of it feeling very relieved, very I guess rewarded. No, reward is not the right word, but basically, yeah, I came out of that conversation feeling really good about myself, because like I was able to share some feelings, some thoughts, and bounce them off someone like that I suppose I respect to a I hate when they do this. Someone that I basically respect to some degree. And yeah, just trying to think about like some of the. Okay, this is gonna be some random stuff spawning here, right? No. Well, there was a trap in there anyway. I guess I guess while I'm on this topic, it's also, oh boy, this is gonna be fun. Nope. Okay, let's retreat for a bit. That's not supposed to happen. Well, no. Ideally, I would like to keep talking, but unfortunately, I need to concentrate on this, which is probably seems silly to some of you, as it just involves a lot of clicking. So let's thunderbolt this, and that's much better. And come on. Hit that, and hopefully that's it. Oh, hidden treasure. Excellent. That means I'll probably have to make a trip to sell a whole bunch of stuff. So I'll just open all these chests, and then ooh, pretty. 10% intelligence plus 5%. No, I've got a better one. Oh, okay. Time to sell stuff. So, and it's interesting when I think about the dreams that I remember. It's the earliest one that I can remember is like I was really young, back in primary school, and I was like at the end of a maze, and there was a monster. I suppose like a generic like I can still sort of describe the generic physical features to you, but it's do I sell this? Yes. 13 to 30. Okay. But yeah, it was me at the end of a maze, and there was a monster at the start of the maze, and I was actually looking at it from the top, like I was on the right in bed, and the monster was in the bottom left at the entrance of the maze, and it was actually quite a simple maze, but obviously since it was long ago I actually remember the maze itself. Let's check out. We'll have to think about that later. So yeah, and basically the monster had to go through the maze, and at the end there will be me, which he will eat up. And I suppose that isn't really a lucid dream, but yes, I do remember the feeling of sort of like just being in bed, but I wasn't able to get out. But at the same time, I was able to see from the top of the maze. I was able to see the monster, the whole maze, and it was just like this impending sense of doom slash terror that I was feeling. And I suppose the other vivid one that I actually recall, because it was actually quite vivid. It was me. I was like outside of my house on the street, and what was happening was that I was being chased by a bunch of zombie werewolves and zombies, and that actually brings to mind some of the other thing that's sort of been a constant in other lucid dreams I have. Oh, this guy is annoying. Come on. Alright. Now, let's explore this area, and I should be done with today's video for these. So, yeah, I was basically running down the street, and there was a bunch of, like, zombie werewolves and zombies on my tail. And, I remember I tripped over, and the wolves and zombies caught out to me, and they started eating me from the feet up. And now, I'm not going to claim to know what being eaten feels like. I just remember it was it wasn't excruciating pain, but I could like feel them biting away at my legs, and my losing feeling from my feet, and as they continue to eat away at my legs, I was like, obviously not feeling anything. And then that's unfortunately when both unfortunately and thankfully when I woke up, because it was just like, it was a weird feeling, and I would just wake up thinking, well, let's try not to, experience that ever again. Not that it will ever happen. And I think it's strange that zombies popped up as well, because, like I said before, I've never been a fan of the whole zombie apocalypse thing. I think it's kind of silly, and maybe it just plays. Maybe just, maybe people have a bit too much imagination about that, or maybe it's just like a running gag slash meme. But nevertheless, zombie werewolves was certainly a new thing for me, so it was, yeah, quite fascinating. Okay, let's sell a bunch of stuff. I'll look at that later in my free time when I'm not playing this game while trying to talk at the same time. That actually reminds me about the other constant in my lucid dreams, in that there's a very strange flying component that I remember from like several lucid dreams, and that's pretty much the only how to say it. It's like, well, basically I should describe it. What happens is that I would jump, and I would sort of like float in the air for an unusually long time, and I would float up so high. It was just like, I would just jump, and I would start flying, and then you would just like very slowly go up in the air. And I would actually get irritated at it. And because I was just like floating, and there was no way to actually force myself to get down. And yeah, I would just slowly float up in the air, and then to the point where I would literally be up in the atmosphere, and I'll be able to look down and enjoy the scenery, but at the same time, like, I'll be unable to get down. And then I do have like this, how do I say it? It's not a fear of heights, but more that, the stomach drop feeling when you look down from a really high height. That's always the feeling I'll get when I'm having that kind of scenery. So I will always have that feeling, and then it's like either the dream stops while I'm floating in the air, or or basically like I will just calm down, but it'll take a really long time. So it's kind of bizarre. And I guess the other thing worth touch. I guess the other thing is to that's I used to wonder about was like dream interpretations, but I think the main problem with it is that it's very symbolic, and as always the main problems with interpretations in general is that you can easily misinterpret things, or basically certain things mean different things to different people, and and basically yeah, certain things mean different things to different people. So it's like, and I guess when we dream diaries, that sort of thing, they just a record of the most common interpretations slash symbolism. So yeah, I mean, at one point in my life, it was fascinating to think about, but nowadays I don't really take much stock in them. Um, but yeah, I mean, to be honest, I've never actually used those dream dictionaries to sort of try and interpret my dreams, because yeah, I guess part of it is also because of my opinion that dreams are just like an amalgamation of thoughts and experiences that you've had in your lives. So it's one of those don't try to read too much into it sort of things. But I suppose for some people who are not as aware of their own circumstances, feelings, experiences, maybe it's like that little voice in the back of your head that's telling you to do the right thing sort of thing. But otherwise I don't actually know, nor would I really care too much to try and interpret someone's dreams for them. Because, well, for one, it's not really my business. Anyway, let's see how much time has passed. Oh, okay, 22 minutes. Okay, well, I'll kill this bunch of archers and get back to the fountain, and we'll wrap up this video for today. I'm actually recording this in the morning and my brother's still asleep, so I hope he hasn't woken up by then, because, well, you know, he has good ears and I don't, and I do hope I actually do wonder if he can actually hear me talking in my room, because I know I can hear him talking from his room, but this. Well, if he's awake, he's probably awake now because I've been talking for the past 20 minutes, so either whoops and yeah, whoops. That's pretty much all I can say. Well, there it is, the rebirth hunting. That's, for those of you who don't know the game, that's pretty much the save point. And yeah, as said in my first video, the main reason I can play this game while talking is that basically when I play through this game, it's always about 20 or 30 minutes before I hit the next save point. So yeah, it's a good stretch of time for me to sit down and talk about things and play a game at the same time. Anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And yeah, I'm not sure what I'll talk about next, but at least recording this is being fun, and you know, I get to talk about things. So yeah, see you on the next video.